Mary Breckinridge, pioneer nurse and founder of the Frontier Nursing Service. She was born February 17, 1881 in Memphis, Tennessee. She was born into a wealthy, influential family. Her grandfather, John Breckinridge, was the Vice President of the United States under James Buchanan. Her parents were Catherine Carson and Clifton Breckinridge. He was a congressman from Arkansas and a U.S. ambassador to Russia. Growing up, Mary was given the best education possible with private tutoring and boarding schools in Switzerland. Although education seemed to be a prominent factor in Mary's life, she was discouraged from continuing her education at a collegiate level by her mother. Mary had a tough romantic life that was not so lovely and endearing as one would hope for. It was a tragic love story with no happy ending. When she was 23, she married Henry Ruffner Morrison in 1904. But their marriage was short-lived after he died from illness complications relating to appendicitis. In 1912, she married Richard Ryan Thompson. Together they had 2 children, neither of whom survived childhood. She divorced him after they were together for only 8 years. After the death of her children, she dedicated her life in memory of them to the medical field. She worked as a public health nurse in several metropolitans while she was waiting for an assignment in France with the American Red Cross. In France, she was primarily aided women and children who suffered the effects of World War I. Mary did in fact further her education despite her mother's wishes. After her first husband died, she studied at St. Luke's Hospital Training School in New York City. Then, after her return from France, she attended Columbia University and majored in public health nursing. After observing low infant and maternal mortality rates on visits to England and Scotland, she turned her attention to America, the place where mortality rates were exponentially higher than the rest of the world. She hyper-focused on the Appalachian region, where it was most prominent. The Frontier Nursing Service was a corporation of women whose main mission was to assist in childbirth and health care for rural Kentucky. Much of it was funded out of Breckinridge's own pocket. But as word spread, donations were made to allow for the construction of a hospital and several other buildings. When it first started, the main mode of transportation required the use of horses or mules instead of cars, since roads were not easily accessible. The Frontier Nursing University stemmed from the Frontier Nursing Service in 1939. Since World War II was in full swing on the European front, students were not able to be sent to Britain for their education. The alternative was to create a school in the United States where the education could continue. The main objective now, today, is for students to be able to stay in their local communities while they are being educated. Throughout her lifetime, Mary Breckinridge received many awards and honors. One of these comes from the University of Kentucky, where she has an honorary law degree. After serving tens of thousands of patients, she died May 16, in 1965, in Hyden, Kentucky. 3 years after her death, she was the face of a postage stamp.